What's up, everyone? Today we're covering TIE Fighter Factory walkthrough and holocrons here within Star Wars The Force Unleashed. So this is our first full level or main level here in The Force Unleashed. We went through the Kashyyyk prologue, but now we're getting into the real levels. So you can see here we're going to be getting the Gripped, Skilled, Insurrection, and Corellian Star achievement / trophies, and we'll show you all those throughout the level as well. One of them is just for completing the level, and yeah, we'll get through the rest of that. But yes, so this is going to cover all 15 holocrons here in the very first level of the game, TIE Fighter Factory, and it's also going to show you how to get through the level. Now, we will have video links in the description for each of the 15 holocrons, so that's basically the equivalent of the mini kits in Lego Marvel, or Lego Lord of the Rings, or Lego Harry Potter, or I guess that would be the house crests in Harry Potter. Sorry, I was blanking on what games I've covered. But anyways, once we've made it out of that first little hallway and into this hangar here, the first holocron, we're going to make our way to the other side of the room here, jump up onto this higher ledge pathway, and we'll find the first holocron. So they're those yellow glowing cubes. Now for our second one, we're going to just jump straight across the way to this crashed ship. And we're going to jump on, it kind of looks like a fin of some sort on the top of that ship. Jump onto the top of it, and then you can use that to jump up onto this even higher ledge at the top of the area. And that's going to be it for our first two holocrons. So that's all the holocrons here in this first hangar now. We just take out a bunch of enemies. There's an achievement for taking out like 200 Imperials or Stormtroopers, so we'll get that throughout our playthrough as well. But yeah, just taking out enemies is never a bad idea, because you can actually build up force points in these levels, which are, go towards achievements and the like. So yeah, I just recommend taking out enemies because you build up those force points, and they're just out of your way. So when you're trying to do things, they don't get in your way and try to stop you. So yeah, you also might have noticed there was a little bit of some text popping up on the screen that said like 1 out of 5 TIE fighters destroyed, 2 out of 5. There's a bunch of TIE fighters in here. Pick up objects and throw them around at them, and you'll eventually destroy 5 if you persist. But anyways, once we've taken out this room entirely, we're going to use our Force Grip, which we learned at the end of the prologue, if you remember, in that little training sequence. Use our Force Grip to go ahead and move around those little latches on the door, opening it up to a new hallway. We're going to make our way through here, and when we get to these 3 enemies in this kind of blue uniform with white helmets, look over to your right and you'll notice a door which we can use force push to open up, revealing our third holocron behind it. So we're making decent progress. We're now going to smash our way through this next door, and we're going to pick up Force Grip to pick up a bomb there and throw it forward to some enemies, taking them out. Now from there, what we're going to do is that actually caused a level up to occur. So level up is when you build up enough force points and you can level up. I'm not really sure the threshold for each level up. It probably changes as you level up more, but you can use them to purchase kind of upgrades, which kind of boosts some of your force powers. So, it can make your Force Grip stronger, Force Push, and then the other subsequent force powers that I won't spoil, but will come up later in the game, and you'll see those in the coming levels. And then we'll have mastered all of those by the end of our playthrough, and we will be very, very talented Force users. Anyways, we're now going to make our way into this next part here of the level, which kind of is this massive, like, bay area, which looks like a bunch of TIE fighters flying around. It kind of looks like we're outside, but we're still inside this giant TIE fighter factory. Anyways, once we jump over that little gap there in the bridge, we're going to make our way here. A bunch of enemies to take out, tons of Stormtroopers, and these other enemies. I don't know if they count as Imperials, but who knows. Anyways, we're now going to use Force Push to break open this doorway, and you probably will notice the holocron there glowing in the back behind those crates. And once we take out some Stormtroopers, we will make our way forward, and you'll notice these 4 crates stacked up, and you'll notice the holocron glowing behind them. So go ahead, take out the crates or move them out of your way and pick up that holocron. Or you could probably just jump over them without moving them. But that's going to be our 4th holocron. And then for our 5th holocron, we're going to ride this elevator up, and then we're going to explode some enemies because there's a bunch of bombs in there. Anyways, we're going to take a right turn here. So not a left, but a right. The left turn is to get to where we need to go, but the left turn is to get to this next holocron. So make your way, force push through that door. And then over here in the kind of far left side, a bit more than 4 crates here hiding that 5th Holocron, but move them out of your way until you uncover it, and then you can go ahead and pick up number 5. And then we're going to make our way back into this hallway we were just in before, and you know how I said take a right to get the Holocron, but a left is to get to where we need to be? Well, now we're going to take that left, force push through that door. Now, this is actually where we get our first achievement for Gripped. Now, Gripped is, if you remember in the prologue, we got an achievement for taking out, I think it was 100 enemies with force push. That one is for 100 enemies with force grip. So, grip is where you pick up enemies and throw them with the force, so just like that. I think force grip and force push are really going to be the ones you use the most, and a force ability we're going to learn in the next level. That one will also be pretty commonly used because they're just easy to use. Some of the other ones require a little bit more button tapping. There's some other ones we'll unlock later that are a little bit more involved and more tricky to use and less. You'll use them. You'll find yourself using them less. Anyways, we're going to make our way along to this really long pathway, and there's going to be some alcoves along the right side. I think that was the second little alcove we encountered along the way, but if you just look into all the alcoves, one of them will have your 6th Holocron inside it. So once we've done that, we're going to make our way through this doorway here. Again, well, not again, I haven't actually said this, but you probably will have been able to notice it. When we've got big chunks of story without any Holocrons, we are going to speed it up a bit, because I'll be honest, a lot of this game, the levels are quite long, but you're always taking out enemies, and there's little boss encounters throughout the levels, and there's not really too much puzzle aspect to these levels, and when there are, we'll try to be a little bit more descriptive of what we're doing, but a lot of it is just make your way from point A to point B, taking out enemies along the way. Or, you know, you don't have to take out the enemies, but it does just make your experience a bit easier. Now, we got our way into this room, and then there's kind of this big energy wall blocking us off, so we're kind of like, what do we do here? But you'll notice a big battery on the side, so use your force grip to pull it out, and that'll deactivate the laser walls. Then I get kind of confused here. Luckily, I did make the right turn, but you might get a little bit confused depending on how your orientation was going into that room. But make your way through the doorway into this next room, which is very similar to that last room, except it doesn't have an energy wall around it. And we're like, where on earth do we go? I tried to go in there, but it turns out it's actually through this little hallway. So some of those circular rooms are a little bit difficult to navigate, but find the door that you know you didn't go through to get into that room. Maybe I could have slowed some of this other stuff down. But anyways, in this next room, which is kind of like a little bit of a power room, a bunch of cords and stuff, so use your force grip to go ahead and move it, so it move it out, pull it out of the wall so you can jump up it to reach the higher bit. Now we get into this room, and this is again like what I was saying, like there's going to be boss encounters throughout. This is like a AT-AT, I think I think it's like a, what do they call it, like a, okay, it's not going to tell us, it's like a, it's not an not an AT-AT, that's the big ones, that's a AT-ST, but I think there are AT-ATs in this game, but there's not AT-ATs, there's AT-STs, but then there's also those ones, which I think are like AT-CTs, maybe? I honestly, yeah, don't quote me on that. But anyways, Holocron number 7, once you've taken out all the enemies in the AT-ST, we'll just call it an AT-ST, close enough, looks about the same. We're going to make our way up one of those TIE fighter wings, which is acting as an elevator. Now, I take the wrong stop. You're actually meant to ride the TIE fighter wing all the way up to the top, but we get a little too eager and jump off one stop too early, but ride it all the way to the top, make your way along behind those crates is going to be Holocron number 7. Then for Holocron number 8, it's going to be right next to us, jump up to this little rooftop here, and that's Holocron number 7. Now that was Holocron number 8. Now for Holocron number 9, we're going to drop down below, make your way through this hallway here, which is preceding us through the main progression of the level. We're going to make our way down this hallway, and then we're going to take a right-hand turn here. We're going to get into another room, similar to where we were just at, except there is no AT-ST this time. And this, by far, now I know we're only one level in, but I have recorded the next few levels as well. This is the most annoying Holocron I've come across now. Granted, I'll be honest, I'll take the mask off. I have played this game before. I have 100%ed it a few times, actually. It's one of my favorite games of all time, so I was like, well, we may as well cover it because it's so fun, right? But this is one of the most annoying Holocrons in the game. I mean that, and it's only in the first level. So if you think this is going to be an idea of what's to come, I wouldn't think that entirely. Some Holocrons are difficult, but this one is just so annoying. You have to use force grip to pick up these TIE fighter wings, and you have to like move them around, but it just like, the game doesn't make it fun for you. Like, they just make it impossibly difficult to move them, because it's such a tight space you have to slip it into. I mean, I get it there pretty perfectly, but then the game kind of messes me up, because I kind of also messed it up, because I like let go of it so it would drop, but then it kind of like didn't drop into place because there was too much momentum going down. Anyways, I just give up and decide to jump from the like it facing up and jump right onto the tip of it, like what we kind of did with the fin of that ship at the beginning for one of the earlier holocrons. Anyways, jump up to this spot where we are right now. You get holocron number 9. Then you're going to have to make a very tricky jump just up top of you to another TIE fighter wing. You jump all the way to the top here. Holocron number 10 is all the way up here. Now, that's a bit of a gap you have to jump across. So what I would recommend is using double jump midair and then kind of perform a little dash by hitting your left trigger. And that's going to kind of be, or left bumper. I still don't know which one's LB and LT, like on the Xbox controller. It still confuses me. I think you want LT. You want the one of the two triggers, the one that's smaller of the two left triggers. So hopefully that makes sense. Anyways, we're going to ride this elevator up to this next little room where we're going to head left here. And you're going to find a doorway at the end there, which we can go ahead and head through. No need to force push it open. It's just going to open for us. This is going to be our last kind of section of the level where the rest of our holocrons are. So make sure you've got 10 holocrons up until this point. You can pause and check how many holocrons you've got, which is very fortunate. But anyways, it's very fortunate for me as well whenever I second guess whether I actually picked them up or not. But anyways, make your way through here, and on the left-hand side, make your way into this little alcove here, and at the end of it, kind of tucked away, is going to be holocron number 11. Now we're going to make our way through here a little bit forward, and you'll notice a slope here, or ramp here off to the left. You'll also notice an energy wall there. Now we're going to have to remove that energy wall, so we're going to head up this ramp here on the left, which is going to take us into a massive generator room. There's a bunch of electricity here, which looks a bit scary. So run through the middle of the left set of electrical like pillars, I guess you could call them, and then the holocron will be in the middle of them. Try not to veer too much to the side, because if you hit the electricity, it won't end well for you. Anyways, head into that little alcove there on the edge of the room and pick up holocron number 13. So just 2 left, and then we'll be done with our first full level with holocron. So anyways, just like what we did before, use force grip to pull out that massive battery, which will deactivate all the energy shields. So now we can make our way forward into here, and then try not to get hit by the lasers as much as you can. And anyways, here on the left, we're going to make our way until we see an alcove. No, matter of fact, it's actually on the right. I duped you there a little bit, but over here on the right, it's the alcove there on the right. Go ahead, head inside, pick up the holocron. That's going to get us the skilled achievement / trophy, which is just for getting, I think that one is for getting I think it's 250,000 force points in one level. No, actually, I think it's 300,000. Don't quote me on it. It's 250 or 300,000. I guess we'll kind of be able to see. In fact, I'll put up on screen the text for the amount. And look at that. No, it was 250,000. We just paused there, showing you we've got everything now. We got like 260,000. So the skilled achievement is 250,000 skill points, or force points, I should say. So once you got that, awesome. Once you got 15 holocrons, you don't have to have all the force points, because you can get plenty here against the boss. If you've got the 5 out of 5 TIE fighters destroyed as well, that's cool. It's just a bonus objective. You don't need to do it. But there is an achievement. One of our achievements at the end here is for completing all objectives in a level, which includes the holocrons and the force points and the bonus objective. So the bonus objective for this one was 5 TIE fighters. Probably the easiest bonus objective you'll find, because you can just do it in that first room. And if you miss it, just redo the level. This is the shortest level of the bunch, because it's the first one. But anyways, falling a little bit behind, but we're here in this boss battle. And look, I'm going to be honest, all the boss battles are pretty similar. You just have to keep attacking the enemy. Just do whatever you want. You can use force push. I mean, obviously, we're a bit limited early in the game with what we have. And again, I don't want to spoil all the different force powers. The most notable one is going to be unlocked in the next level. You probably know what it is if you've played this game or have any idea about this game. It's kind of ends up being his main force power, I guess you could say. Anyways, we're just going to keep defeating him, and then eventually we're going to get to a button mashing sequence. Now, that was not the button mashing sequence. You'll know when he's on like a really low health, and you'll notice on the top right hand side there, Once his health is on red and really low, that's when we can start doing the button mashing stuff. So just spam the buttons right now. You have to do it pretty quick, and this one I found was quite harsh with some of them. Like, you can see I'm messing this up here a bit. But the good thing about it is, like, you don't have to redo any of the battle if you mess up button mashing. You just have to redo the button mashing process. So it's not too difficult, and you'll get used to it as you do more of them. And again, as I said, they're in every boss battle. But anyways, you can see that we got 2 achievements for 20 gamer score, so that's pretty cool. And those, of course, were for Insurrection for completing the level, and then Corellian Star for getting all bonus objectives, as I said. So you can see the bonus objectives there. Destroy 5 TIE fighters. Got that done. You'll notice if there's the red dot next to it, that means you got it. Force points, we got about 300k out of 250k. So again, 250k is for the skilled achievement, in 250k force points in 1 level. And then we also got all 15 Holocrons. So there you go, folks. That's going to wrap it up for me for TIE Fighter Factory. We showed you how to get through the level. We also got all the Holocrons as well. So hopefully that one was helpful. If you found it helpful or maybe enjoyed the video, a like would certainly be appreciated. Also, feel free to subscribe, comment any sort of questions you might have, suggestions, requests, whatever you got. Comment them down below. All the support is seriously so appreciated. But yeah, that's going to do it for me. And until the next one, I will see you all later. See everybody. Bye.